So a patent clerk rewrote space and time, and then he spent the rest of his life wrestling with what science should mean. This is Albert Einstein. I'm Matt Hasquin, and I'm taking you through Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. I'm just a high school history teacher that's trying to spread some knowledge. So let's get into the story here of why Billy Joel included Einstein in the lyrics. So when Billy Joel drops Einstein, he's pointing to a person and to an era where physics changed how we understand reality. Albert Einstein was born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany. He was curious and he was stubborn. He was also slow to accept anyone's because I said so, right? And after struggling to land a job at university, he worked at a Swiss patent office, and he was reading through other people's inventions by day and trying to invent new physics by night. Now 1905 is a really important year because in that one year, he publishes 4 papers that will shake the world. It's what is it, Mirabilis Annus or something like that. Anyway. The photoelectric effect first. Light can act like packets of energy, later that were called photons. And that paper helped to launch the quantum theory and then eventually earned him the 1921 Nobel Prize. And then there's the Brownian motion issue. The jitter of pollen in water becomes proof that atoms are real and not just ideas. Then special relativity. The laws of physics hold for everyone moving at constant speed, and the speed of light is constant. Space and time are not separate stages, but one fabric. And clocks will tick differently for observers that are in motion, right? And then there's the mass energy equivalence, right? From special relativity, we get E equals mc squared. A tiny bit of mass holds a terrifying amount of energy. Now, 10 years later, he unveiled general relativity. Gravity is not a force pulling on you from afar. It is space-time itself, and it's curving around mass and energy. In 1919, an eclipse expedition measured starlight bending around the sun, just as Einstein had predicted. And overnight, the quiet theorist became a global celebrity. But Einstein's life just kept colliding with history. He was a Jewish scientist in an age of rising fascism. He left Germany in 1933, and he settled in Princeton in New Jersey. He was a lifelong pacifist, and he still signed a 1939 letter urging President Roosevelt to investigate nuclear chain reactions because he feared that the Nazis may create a bomb. He did not work on the Manhattan Project. And after the war, he warned about nuclear weapons and he pushed for international cooperation. He also used his fame for civil rights. He spoke out against racism in America, and he supported activists who risked their careers. He believed that science carried moral duties and responsibilities. Curiosity should lead to humility, and discovery should not excuse indifference. Well, Einstein never stopped chasing big questions. Quantum mechanics worked, but its probabilistic heart bothered Einstein. God does not play dice, he said, and he was pushing for a deeper theory even as the physics community sprinted ahead. And late in life, he sought a unified field theory, this single framework for all forces. He did not find it, but the search maps the kind of thinker that he was. He died in 1955, leaving the ideas that power modern technology. GPS needs relativity to keep time accurately. Lasers and solar cells sit on quantum foundations, and cosmology rests on the equations that he wrote. A century later, the universe is still answering questions Einstein asked. So how do we tie this back to the song? Well, in a song that races through wars and politicians, Einstein is the shorthand for genius reshaping reality and for the moral puzzles that follow when knowledge changes power. Why does it matter? Well, Einstein shows that ideas can move history. Relativity and quantum theory rebuilt physics, and rewired daily life, from navigation to electronics. His public voice reminds us that scientific authority is not just about being right. It's about being responsible. If you enjoyed this video, and if you're enjoying the We Didn't Start the Fire series, if this is your first time seeing the series, please go to my profile and you'll see them in order. And I'll keep going through it lyric by lyric, line by line, because next up after Einstein is James Dean. Thanks for watching.